Hey everybody, Jimmy Smith, UFC 302 post-fight breakdown. Going over my picks, see how they did, how the weekend was. UFC 302, nothing to write home about. We'll get to the main event in a bit. The only fight there that stands out as really good, that has a lot of stakes to it and a lot of storyline moving forward. But we'll go into every single fight. Starting out, Randy Rude Boy Brown, Elizeu Zaleski Dos Santos. I picked Dos Santos for the money because Randy Brown was almost a 2-1 favorite. I was wrong, but I was right. He was not twice as good as Dos Santos. Very, very close fight. I saw it in a crowded sports bar. I was getting something to eat, so I wasn't paying the attention I wasn't glued to it. But I thought it was very, very close. Dos Santos came close with a few submissions, took his back in round number one, had him in trouble. I think it was round number one. Had him in trouble. Randy Brown able to beast his way out and reverse some positions. I thought the ground battles belonged to Dos Santos for the most part. Randy Brown did reverse and take his back a bit. But and then Randy Brown did some good work on the stand-up, threw a knee that rocked Dos Santos. It was back and forth. Unanimous decision for Randy Brown. I was a little surprised about that. I thought it would be at least a split. I thought Dos Santos may have won the fight. But a close one. Very, very close one. Randy Brown winning by unanimous decision. So starting off 0-1. Nico Price, Alex Morono. The end of round number one, when they show the tweets of how people think everything's going, they showed a tweet that said, man, Morono really looking good in round number one and showing a lot of versatility. Yes, he won round number one. It reminded me a little bit of Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier. At the end of round number two, Chandler won round two, if I remember correctly. Poirier won round one, and the odds were even. It's like, boy, it's all tied up. It's totally even going to the third round. And I remember thinking, no, it's not. Chandler's going to lose. Because at the end of round number two, yes, he won round number two, but he looked exhausted. And Chandler has a pacing problem. So what happened? Poirier took his back, finished from round number three. Well, I was like, dude, he'll guillotine him or rear naked choke him in round number three. Bet your house on it. And that's exactly what happened. I got a similar vibe here where Morono won the first round, right? He outlanded Nico Price. But by the end of round number one, he's throwing these slappy punches. We call arm punches, meaning your hip's not involved. You're not really turning it over and getting a lot of power in it. But he's throwing these slappy punches. He's really tired. He's breathing heavy. So at the end of round number one, I went, he's going to lose this fight. Did he win round number one? Yes. You shouldn't be that tired at the end of round number one. And so round number two, Nico Price starts turning it up, starts getting takedowns, starts outlanding him, and that was the story rounds 2 and 3. So it was really Morono not having the gas to keep the fight going past round number one effectively and not landing with enough power to keep Nico Price off of him. Just two guys who are, mid-level guys, and Nico Price did a little bit better after round number two. His gas was just better. So Morono really didn't impress me with his pacing, his ability to keep the fight where he needed to be in the last two rounds. That's it. Had a decent first round. Didn't destroy Nico Price by any stretch of the imagination, but lost rounds 2 and 3 decisively. Another unanimous decision. So I'm 0-2 to start. I get it back at the end. Kevin Holland over Mikhail Oleszejczyk. I said, early fight, Kevin Holland is the best combination to take in this one. And it was an early fight by Kevin Holland. Able to get an armbar from guard. Oleszejczyk pissed off he didn't tap. Folks, the rule is if they see a dislocation or a break, fight's over. In MMA, it doesn't matter whether you tap or how, I'm okay. If shoulder pops out, arm breaks, they see a bone snap, it's over. Famous example is... Tim Sylvia versus Frank Mir broke his forearm with an armbar. Herb Dean stops it. Everybody loses his mind. He's like, I didn't tap. And you could see the bones went, it clearly broke. And when they played the replay, you could see the break. Oh, okay, that's why he stopped it. They're not allowed to keep a fight going. It's not a judgment call. It's not, I didn't know. No, if they see a break or a dislocation, they stop the fight. So it's semantic anyway, meaning if you get out of the armbar, this was not round number 5, 10 seconds left to go in a 5-round fight. Oh my God, for a world title. This was a minute and a half into the first round. So if your arm gets broken in round number 1, even if you get out of the armbar, you ain't going to win. For the jiu-jitsu dorks who remember Roger Gracie versus Jacare, Roger Gracie broke Jacare's arm. Jacare able to escape, kept fighting, tucked his arm into his belt and won. Absolutes, I want to say 2004-ish. Great, but number one, it's not allowed anymore. They changed the rules, so you can't do that. But number two, there was not a lot of time left. Jacare was already winning 2-0. So he just ran around for the last minute. This was early in the first round. So even if he gets out and his arm's sitting there hanging and they, for some reason, let the fight go, like, you're going to get the crap beaten out of you. It ain't going to make any difference. But the rule is you see a break or dislocation, you stop the fight. So Kevin Holland was my pick, and I picked the under. And both of those ended up happening. It's where you make the most money. Second one, Sean Strickland over Paulo Costa. I picked Sean Strickland to win. I said he's going to win. And I said and also the over and the under were almost the same, so there's no real point in betting the over or the under. I said Paulo Costa might be worth a side bet, I guess, but Sean Strickland just, probably going to win, even though he's a heavy favorite. He did win. Not a lot of money to be made in this one. I agree with Dana White. The judge who called this one for Paulo Costa is out of their mind. I didn't give Paulo Costa any rounds in this one. It was a guy who doesn't do that much. And somebody in the comment section said, oh, Paulo Costa is more versatile than you give him credit for. I didn't see any versatility at all. He was, winging big punches, but moving backward, wasn't able to deal with physical pressure. Look, you're built like the Incredible Hulk. Step forward to the pocket and see what you can do. You are not Floyd Mayweather, right? You are not Sugar Ray Robinson. You're not Anderson Silva. You're not going to do great things moving backward. Now, all those fighters were great moving backward. If you follow those guys, do it at your own peril because they'll hit you with the check left hook that you're never going to see. That's not Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa is not, a technician. He's not Ernesto Hoost, right? He's not going to do anything great as you're chasing him around the octagon. He's got to stand his ground and throw big punches, and that's it. And the idea that he never hit what I call the F it button and go, okay, I'm losing a decision. Hey, man, might as well throw balls to the wall, see what I can do here. And he didn't do that at all, ever. Sean Strickland said, hey, maybe he's trying to be my friend or whatever. He saw the post-fight interview. It didn't make sense to me at all. What did you come out there to do? Because you're not going to beat Sean Strickland moving backward. You got to stand your ground and hit. And, Alex Pereira did it, knocked him out. This idea that you're going to get chased around the octagon and somehow come up with a magic shot. No, Strickland's too good for that. And he's too good at putting physical pressure, and he's awkward and weird and throws these teeps, and you're not going to time him that effectively with a counterpunch unless you are really, really good. And Paulo Costa is strong, but he's not really, really technical. So immediately, I was like, he's not going to win this fight. Just moving backward. No effort to really stand his ground at all. And when you're the bigger, stronger guy, it's always a coin flip and you turn it into a brawl. And with Sean Strickland, as I said when I broke this one down, if you're betting against Sean Strickland, you're betting he makes a mistake at some point and gets into a brawl when he shouldn't and loses. If you stand your ground and you're Paulo Costa, Sean Strickland's the kind of guy to engage you and go, okay, fine. Even when he probably shouldn't, he does. So if Paulo Costa had stopped moving backward and just planted his feet and said, okay, let's meet right here and see what can happen, Strickland's not going to go, okay, I should out-technique this guy. And no, he's going to go, okay, let's brawl, and that's your best chance. And he never did that. So I found the strategy strange. And there are times when I see a strategy and it doesn't work, right? But there are other times where I go, I don't know what your strategy is at all. I don't see a game plan at all, let alone, all right, I see what you're trying to do here, but you're up against a better guy. I've seen that a million times. But the times when I go, I don't know what you intended to come out here and do. If you thought you were going to counterpunch Sean Strickland, that's very, very difficult to do, even if your boxing's absolutely elite. So I didn't understand the strategy. Should have been a unanimous decision win for Sean Strickland. But, a dominant performance, what else do you want? He says he's going to wait out for a title shot. See how that works for him. But on to the main event, Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier. I picked Islam Makhachev, and I picked the over. I said, the only way to make money on this one is you're kind of betting on the durability of Dustin Poirier, that he makes more of a fight out of it. Poirier did make a fight out of it. It was interesting, to say the least. But I also gave Islam every round before the submission in round number 5. Hit him with a Darce choke. What do I think of this fight? It's very strange, right? And what I mean by that is Islam, excellent ground game, was ahead of Dustin Poirier in the scrambles and getting position and all that stuff. On the feet, did a good job. Did get badly cut. What was it? I think round number 4. Right in between his nose and his eye, right up here. So, he ate some punches. But one of the things I said in the breakdown is, Poirier's not a one-shot knockout guy. He's a volume guy. So he can cut you up. He can beat you up. He can do a lot of things. But it's not going to be, bang, where am I? If he were that kind of a puncher, he might have been able to get Islam out of there. He did land some good punches, but no, he's just not the hardest puncher in the world. So, obviously, there was a chance that he could wear Islam down in round number 5. He was turning it on. He did have him cut. A lot of people go, maybe he can turn this around 5. And Islam able to get to the ground and win via Darce. The takeaways I have from the fight are Islam has now tied for the record number of title defenses for a 155-pounder. He's tied with BJ Penn, Khabib, Frankie Edgar, and Benson Henderson. So it's a big tie. But my point is he's tied. The problem is it's a very frustrating 3 fights. 2 of them against a puffed-up 45er in Alexander Volkanovski, 1 of them on short notice, and the 3rd one against 4th-ranked Dustin Poirier. He wasn't the number 1 contender. He has yet to fight and beat the number 1 contender in the weight class in any of his 3 title defenses. So it's a very frustrating kind of run, first off, in that we're still kind of like, okay, he hasn't beaten the number 1 contender yet, so we don't really know what he has. Now, no fault of his own. Last time around, it was supposed to be Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, of course, getting cut, and they put in Alexander Volkanovski. So the problem is he's tied, but he hasn't really shown us what he can do against the best of the best in the division. I'm not saying Dustin Poirier is bad, but he was they kind of shoehorned him in between the guys who should probably get the title opportunity, right? So it's a frustrating 3-fight run. The other thing is the dominance that we saw against Charles Oliveira, we saw against Dan Hooker, we saw against Bobby Green, we haven't seen in his title defenses. Khabib, when he beat Dustin Poirier, when he beat Justin Gaethje, I was in awe. I was going, oh, man, this dude is going to be champ until he decides he don't want to be champ anymore. I was really impressed. He was better than Dustin Poirier. He was better than Dustin Poirier. I wasn't in awe at any point. I wasn't going, oh my gosh. I mean, he was a level better than Dustin Poirier, yeah, but I didn't get that feeling right of watching like a prime BJ Penn. He went, oh my God, this guy's amazing. A prime Khabib, a prime GSP, a prime Anderson Silva. Give me the all-time greats, prime John Jones. You watch him and you went, wow. I haven't seen that in any of the title defenses of Islam. Now, did he beat Volkanovski by knockout? Yeah, short notice guy who's naturally 10 pounds heavier, and he knocked him out. Okay, that's nice. But I haven't gotten that feeling of, whoa, this guy's absolutely incredible. So I'm not saying he won't get there. I'm saying these 3 fights haven't shown that. So when Dana White was asked about the pound for pound and he said it's John Jones, I agree. Islam has looked very, very good, dominant against Dustin Poirier, but not the kind of dominance that we saw with John Jones over Cyril Gane, and we went, holy God, that wow factor, right? The other side, what's going on with Dustin Poirier? Dustin Poirier's legacy at this point, 3 title opportunities at the lineal title, never won it. He is going to make everybody's list of best guy to never get it. Right now, mine is Kenny Florian. It's the number 1. Once again, 3 title shots. 2 at 55, 1 at 45. But, always just a little bit short. And he's going to be that guy. Because he might fight again, maybe. They offer him a big fight, a big send-off fight, and he takes it. Fine. He's the kind of guy I think he has 1 more left in him. But I don't think he wins the title. I don't think he gets a title opportunity again. But this idea of where is he in MMA history, really popular, great guy, a lot of fun, right there with the best of them, but just not ever quite capable of winning the title. Sucks, but he made a lot of money and has a lot of fans, and I hope he is the rest of his life outside of his career works out very, very well because, he did have some great fights, most notably against Conor McGregor. So there's that. The other thing I want to say is the Dustin Poiriers of the world, the hardworking blue-collar fighter who doesn't excel in any one particular area. Guys like that tend to have big fan bases. They tend to give us great fights. They don't generally break through and become champion. Every now and then, there's a Frankie Edgar. I'd put him in that category. Frankie Edgar. Who else? Sean Strickland. Stipe Miocic, right? A guy that when I first saw Stipe fight, I was like, he's solid. But I didn't think, usually, for an all-time great, for a champion that reigns for a long time, they have at least one thing that makes you go, wow. Where, yeah, they're solid in every area. They're hardworking, have a lot of heart, always go to the gym. Those are that's what everybody has to do. Okay, let me make that abundantly clear. But there's always usually one thing that makes you go, God, man, Anderson Silva's striking was just a wow factor, incredible, right? BJ Penn's talent was just kind of off the chart. So there's almost one thing that every really great fighter has that's just above and beyond. That is, I hate to say it, but like God-given incredible. And the fighters that don't have that sometimes get to the top. They sometimes become champions. They're generally not all-time great. Oh my God, I don't believe it. The blue-collar, hard-working, well-rounded guy can get there. They usually can't stay there. And in athletics, period, I think that's generally true. Kareem worked really hard. Yeah, he was also 7'2", right? There's some gift that person has that other people just don't have. And Dustin Poirier is in that category of just hardworking, grinding, always ready, but he didn't have that secondary thing, crazy knockout power, right? Crazy technique on the ground, anything like, his timing was amazing. He didn't have any of those things that generally an all-time great really has. And so he is an excellent fighter. He will be remembered for his popularity and the fights he gave us for sure. But I think he goes down in history as one of, if not the best, to never win the title. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll see you before the next fight.